Are you ready for some Blood Bowl? That's right. Come check out the brand new game. Well, I guess it's the 5th edition of the game from Games Workshop.
Spiky Bits. Alright, welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer here again with you. Taking a look at the brand new Blood Bowl game. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier in the intro, this is the 5th edition of the game. It's been out for quite some time. I'm sure it's a lot of folks' childhood favorite game, I guess, coming from Games Workshop, because it really was kind of that easy to play, right, back in the day. And you know, this is an exciting time for the game, for Games Workshop in general, because we saw this rumored as coming out, and now boom, here it is. It's $100 retail, and it seems pretty good at first glance. Now, I'm sure a lot of veterans out there probably have already heard the game is basically the same, as far as they haven't really changed much. And I don't know whether that's a good thing on Games Workshop's part, because that is what a lot of folks out there expected. But you know, it turns out that that might help sell it. It is $100 retail, so that is a lot. And of course, I guess the campaign rules, Dead Zone League Season 1, which gives you all the rules for, you know, if you want to play with casualties and leagues and star player points and all that cool stuff from back in the day that normally came with the rule book and the base game, where you're going to have to pay extra for that. It's $25. As far as the base game goes, this is your entry point. You get all the dope stuff here, and it basically, you know, lists everything here. You get the 2 sets of push-foot games. This is basically a board game with miniatures. Think of it that way. Like, if you know nothing else about this, that's basically what it is. It's the English tabletop version of the American football in more brutal context, I suppose. So you get 2 starter armies. Now there is a third coming out, this Game and Play Scramblers, I believe they're called. Game tokens and balls, which also come on the sprues as well. The detailed pitch. Now there's a human version, or kind of a good guy version. There's also, you can flip it over and see the orc version there. We're going to get into all that. 2 sets of official Blood Bowl dice. There is a really interesting D16 in here, which is pretty cool looking. Plastic pass, scatter, and throw-in templates. There's your pass. There's your throw-in template. Don't see the scatter template on here, but we will show that to you inside the box. A deck of special play cards, your player reference cards, your quick reference cards right here. Of course, you get the official rulebook, 2 game reference sheets as well, and the little kind of dugout turn counter thing right there, and star player cards. There's also a decal sheet, which they don't mention there, but there is a ton. It's packed in here. This is a really cool thing. So let's flip this bad boy over and start talking. Now, this isn't going to be showing you how to play the actual game, because to be quite honest, I need a refresher course. I remember playing it a few times. It was never my big thing, but I did enjoy it. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't like the randomness of it. But then when you start thinking about it, you know, playing it back in the day, you're like, man, that game was actually fun, and it wasn't that bad, you know? So that's kind of where it goes for older versus newer players that I've seen, and, you know, over the course of being in a lot of game stores over the years. So here's your official rule book, and then you're going to get the sprues, which we'll take a closer look at as well. The pass template, along with the scatter template and the throw-in template, which you put that on the board edge, and that's basically where you have throw-ins, kind of like soccer. Then your 2 quick reference sheets right here. Then it's got this little insert thing, which is also just to kind of keep things from mashing down on the board. And you can also flip it over and see the little ads and stuff. There's Death Zone Season 1 that I talked about. That is where all your campaign supplements, you know, you're running leagues, getting star player points, people actually dying. There's no casualties rules in this. This game is basically set up 2 teams and play, and then set up 2 teams and play again. There's no progression or anything like that as far as that goes. And then the Game and Play Scramblers, of course, some ads and things for the base games that probably a lot of you out there play, and BloodBowl.com, the home of Blood Bowl. The app actually launches on December 5th, 2016. Now, here's the pitch. We're going to take a closer look at that. It's a solid chunk of card. Then you've got the different sets of cards here. You've got special play cards. You've got, the Mayhem cards. You got random event cards. The weather charts back in here too, which is pretty neat. Star player cards. And then your cards for both teams right there. Now, we're not going to get super into all that, but we just basically want to show you what comes in the box. And then you've got your dice. Again, there's a pretty dope little D16. A whole bunch of 32 mil bases, and for the first time we're seeing a slota on that. And then the dugouts. and they're double-sided, so you can flip them over and have the orc side or have, you know, the human side. And a couple bags to put your dice and things in, and a little ad here for the PC game, and some decals. So pretty dope little layout of things in here. Now, let's talk about the quality of the stuff, because it's actually, believe it or not, these are very high quality products. Let's zoom in a little bit here and kind of get you an idea of what we're talking about. So first up, you've got the dice. Now the dice, I've unboxed a lot of GW dice. These really, they seem to be right on par with some of those dice that you get for 20 bucks. Like, they feel like something in your hand. You don't feel like you're throwing around stupid ass cheap plastic opaque dice. Now these are your blocking dice. Of course, now you've got this little D8 right here. You've got normal dice, so you got a lot of different things in here. And I don't remember this D16. I don't even remember this being a thing. I'm not sure what that's all about. It might have something to do with campaign charts or something, but we will get to that. Of course, the blue ones being for the human team and the green ones being for the orc team. I think they're great looking dice, and obviously we have paid a lot of money for dice sets in the past, so I feel like that's pretty good value that comes in here. Now, I don't have room on this setup. We're kind of in a transition setup. People get mad at me when I don't unbox and unfurl the whole board and everything. And to be quite honest, I'm sorry. I just don't have the room for it here in the current studio. We've been going through some growing pains, so to speak, and we're getting ready to get on Twitch and doing a lot of live stream things. So I just don't have it set up for that right now. But that being said, we can lay it out and show you a pretty decent shot. Like, this is a high quality card. It's way thicker than most of the stuff that comes into things like Betrayal at Calth or Burning of Prospero, and it seems like it's very good graphics. You can tell it kind of reflects the light there, and you know, it goes together very well. It doesn't seem bad. Now this is the human side, of course, and you can tell here too that the spaces are a little bit bigger than they used to be to accommodate the 32 millimeter. But a lot of people already knew that from the previews and such that have already been out there. Now, if you flip this over, you can see the busted up orc side of it, just a bunch of grass and things, but the little markers so you know where to put the guys are still, or hatch, are still pretty well able to be seen because they have that little lens flare on the back there. So board, check, very cool. I like this version of it. I am down like a clown with that thing. So here is the dugout. Again, a very high quality card product here. The printing's very well, everything's very well crisp. You can tell this was definitely done in the 2000s and not the 90s, like the game actually came out. And then you've got your two quick reference cards right here. Again, very well done, very well laid out. A little too wordy for me, but it's very easy to find this stuff and look for the section that you want. And they've got nice little visuals as well. There's also two of them. They're exactly the same, because each player can have one, because learning to play the game's a little rough. Now, I noticed in the instruction manual that they give a quick start guide in there, which I thought was great, because a lot of times they don't do that. Now, here is the passing template. This, you got to cut it out and glue it together, and it locks in right here under the little Blood Bowl symbol. It actually locks in, so you don't have to glue it, but maybe it might be worth. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, you couldn't fit it in here. So you couldn't fit it in a box, so chances are you can just assemble it each time. I actually don't know. Haven't put this together, but my buddy Felix is on his way over here getting off Army Drill to put it together and pretty much paint it in one night, I feel like. He's rather stoked. He literally put the phone down and squeed when I told him I had this, and then he picked it up like nothing happened. So he's obviously excited. So here's the scatter, and what this does is you put your little mans on it, well, or you hold it over and then you roll the block dice, and then a lot of things can happen. The dudes get pushed back or knocked down, or just random stuff happens. Actually, I'm not even sure that's how it happens. Again, I'm not sure on the rules. I only played a couple times. We are going to dig through it and do some demos and things. This might be from when the pass goes, and then like if something, the ball's bouncing around all the time, and that's actually how you, if you fumble it or fail your agility check, I believe it is, that you fumble the ball and then your turn's over, and it's kind of lame. But that's the brutality of the game, I feel like sometimes. And then here's the throw-in template. You line it up, and that way you know where the ball goes. If it goes out of bounds, it comes back in one of this spaces right there. I like the new template. I think it's pretty dope. Next up is let's see. Let us grab what are these things right here? I wanted to grab, yeah, here we go. So let's grab the human team. Now, this is a starter team. You're probably not, if you're in it to win it, so to speak, you're probably not going to want to play these as is. Now, it's unclear whether Games Workshop is actually going to put these out separately, or if you just have to buy another team, to have extra dudes to kind of go with. But in the future, who knows? I'm not sure this is a good competitive team, but you get basically there's 4 different types of dudes. There's blitzers, catchers, throwers, and linemen, which you can tell as a thrower. Linemen are generally dudes just kind of standing there, catchers. So you kind of get the general idea here. There's also a coin here that has the special faction on it as well, whether it's for the human team or for the orc team. And of course, it's this fancy blue plastic. We've seen this before with gene stealers and such. And it's kind of cool because, it's not that kind of dopey gray plastic. You can get these things right out of the box, glue them together or push fit them together because, again, this is a board game with miniatures. It's just made for beginners. You don't even technically have to use glue as long as you can separate them from the sprues here. And you're good to go, right? So that's kind of cool. I dig that. And then, of course, the orc one also comes with the same type of players. You get blitzers, catchers, throwers, linemen, and there they are there. Again, they look dope. I mean, the new way Games Workshop makes miniatures where they basically splice the seams and they do all these computer slices, and once you put it together, you don't even see the mold lines for the most part. It's crazy how these programs have really come along, right? Even the gates themselves are designed to have these kind of pieces that stick up. They're like guardian gates to protect the actual sprue themselves. So the technology is quite amazing once you sit down and start thinking about it and assemble these guys. Now, of course, like I said, these are easy to put together. They're incredibly well detailed. I suppose you could use them if you wanted to play them in Age of Sigmar or Fantasy or something, but you'd have to do some converting because some of them have, the ball in their hand. But I mean, it is what it is. They're dope models. They're definitely worth, $35 or whatever, $40 that Games Workshop is going to charge for separate teams. Now, let's get to the rulebook here. And it's a 50-page rulebook. Like I said, it does have some starter rules in here, or some, quick start rules, right? And that's really cool to see because, like I said, in the past, we haven't had that. So it's a 50-page rulebook. Let's go over the intro. So here's the contents right here. You can clearly see that it comes with a little welcome, the Blood Bowl Boot Camp, which is the quick start rules basically, and then it gets into the actual basic rules, which they call basic rules. It covers about 20 pages or so. Then it gets into the extra rules, which for a lot of people out there aren't going to be very extra because you've seen them in the past. But, just stuff like interceptions, assisting a block, because there's plus modifiers to everything. You've got tackle zones and all sorts of things. And if you have multiple guys in there, things are +1 or -1. It's a little bit of bookkeeping to keep track of when you go to roll the dice, but that's kind of the appeal to it, I feel like. Star players, special kickoff cards. But again, like I said, the origins, and there's actually a little guide to assembling, as well as painting your models in the back of the book here. Now, like I said, this is a starter kind of thing. This is not the get this and you're done. You do have to pick up the season 1 extra book for $25 if you want to do, like crazy Blood Bowl weeks, things of the past. So just be aware that there might be a little bit more to this here. Here you can see the basics. They go over the things like the teams themselves, the throw-in template, which we talked about right there, how that works. Basically, then you've got the Blood Bowl coins, which are these right here. Then you've got the playing field, or aka the pitch, quick reference sheets, player pieces, all that stuff right there. And then, of course, you've got the pass template, which is, once you assemble it, quick pass, short pass, long bomb, and they have varying degrees of difficulty to do. And then if you got your stats right here, movement, or movement allowance, whatever they call it, strength, agility, and your armor value. Now, you can lose guys, again, the game is brutal. You can lose guys just right off the bat, like just falling down, boom. If you don't fumble, it's not that bad, but when you roll on the injury chart, your turn isn't over if you don't fumble. But when you roll on the injury chart, you can lose guys left and right. Now, there isn't anything in here for basically getting knocked out, or you can kill people basically. That is going to be in probably, judging by the description of it, the Season 1 expansion there. And then it just gets into all the gameplay and stuff, which we're not really going to go over, but it seems pretty well thought out here. Now, I just flipped through the quick start guide, and I was like, okay, these are the basics. All right, yeah, that all makes sense, yep. Super easy stuff, didn't seem too difficult or anything out of order there. And then it gets into the more thorough stuff, the basic rules, the optional stuff. And they tell you right here, they're like, hey, stop. I'm like, oh, okay, stop. Don't go any further, you'll confuse yourself, and then you got a roster and everything. Like I said, the Dugout app will be coming out on December 5th. Then you go to the back, and this is probably all I'm going to end up showing you guys today. There's the assembly guide, like I said, super push fit, easy peasy, lemon squeezy to put those together. And then painting a human team, well, that's easy too, if you really want to, ruin that blue or green plastic, which a lot of us probably will. So that's it for this one. That is our first look, review, and unboxing of the brand new Blood Bowl game. Now, I'm sure, being the fact that I haven't played this game in a very long time, I omitted or messed something up there. So please leave a clarification, or, if I made an omission, in the comments below. We always love hearing from you guys. Next up, we will do a video on the actual gameplay to fill you all in and let you know what our first thoughts are of the 5th edition of the venerable game.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.